major things are going on with the Joe Rogan drama that you need to know. Who's behind it and why? And should conservatives care as much as we do? That's what today's show is. Deeply unpopular thoughts about the Joe Rogan controversy and receipts. I'm AlexClark, and this is POPlitics. Spotify tried to calm the rising waters of public opinion by passionately saying that free speech was important to them. Conservatives praised Spotify with glee. Within 48 hours after making that statement, Spotify deleted over 100 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. It is to be determined how many deletions were Spotify's doing alone and how many were removed by Joe himself while groveling at cancel culture's feet. More on that in a minute. To anyone who can think critically, over 100 episodes vanishing should have been a very definitive clue that we'd been hoodwinked, bamboozled. Not only were we hoodwinked by Spotify, I believe we're being hoodwinked by Joe Rogan himself. Spotify clearly went back on their word, and Joe didn't seem to care at all. After all, he posted another new episode to Spotify. My unpopular opinion is this: Joe doesn't actually care that Spotify not only doesn't like him, but they don't have his best interest at heart. And I believe they're holding him and his listeners hostage in an ivory tower where they know they have complete control over what he says. Without this deal with a company like Spotify, Joe's a free man. They think to themselves, hey, you know what? If what he says now is bad, imagine what he'd say or who he'd have on without us overseeing the podcast. Joe remains unbothered despite it all. Just like when Joe praised the disclaimers that they're putting on certain episodes of his, which were clearly the beginning of the end. And yet, all last weekend, conservatives continued to rally behind Joe like he cared.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason?
My prediction is Joe doesn't see this as the beginning of the end for his show, and he's not worried at all. For some reason, he seems to trust Spotify despite the fact that they keep screwing him over again and again. While Spotify seems to be the one who initially stabbed Joe in the back, the N-word video going viral on Twitter twists the knife even harder. Here's part 2 of the Joe Rogan controversy, where I think it gets even juicier.
What are you smiling at?
It's all the drama, Mick. I just love it.
Simultaneously, while the Joe Rogan censorship conversation is happening, a compilation video of Joe Rogan saying the N-word is released by Patriot Takes, a right-wing watchdog account. Patriot Takes claims that because of these despicable clips, they think Spotify should fire Joe Rogan and end their contract due to violations of their moral clause. They said if Spotify doesn't get rid of Joe, that means they don't care about disinformation and that they're an inherently racist company. Ooh, sounds like Patriot Takes hates Joe Rogan a lot. So what's the catch? Why does some Twitter account care if Joe Rogan has a job or not? Is what he said really bothering them that much? You may be interested to know that Patriot Takes is partnered with Midas Touch, which is run by 3 brothers, Ben, Brett, and Jordan Masales. Brett was the social media editor for Ellen DeGeneres. He knows how to edit things and make them go viral. Midas Touch is a leftist super PAC. What's that? It's a political group who raises tons of money with no limits to advocate for or against certain candidates. So why do they care about someone like Rogan? Because when it comes to media, Joe Rogan is the most listened to guy in the world. He basically has like 10 times more listeners than the left-wing hobbits at CNN. He's a massive threat to the midterm elections coming up and the 2024 elections because they know that Joe will have open and honest conversations with candidates and they can't have that. Of course, they also hate that he has exposed their scam about the juice, but trust me, Rogan's power and influence is so dangerous to their cause of having everyone 100% reliant on the government and the left. This was a professional hit job on Joe Rogan, and he apologized. The biggest mistake that he could have made, because now to them, he is a weak spot. Meanwhile, the Spotify CEO, Daniel Ek, is a sniveling coward who apologized to his pink-haired staff for continuing to let Joe Rogan have a show and says that he's donating $100 million to artists from marginalized groups. You know who the biggest marginalized group is right now? Conservatives. Damn, Daniel. Okay. I'm just not sure that conservatives should be putting so much energy into defending this guy when he clearly doesn't seem to care himself. I care more about a professional political social media hit job being taken on anyone deemed a threat to the left. That should disturb and scare all of us, but I just don't know if we should care if Spotify ends up canceling Joe's show and ending his contract early. He doesn't seem to want our help, which is sad and disappointing. I wonder if conservatives coming to his defense so hard is actually making things worse for him, because to the left, that does nothing but confirm to them that he's some ultra right-wing conservative when he's anything but. Yes, he believes in free speech, which in my opinion, he's not even doing a great job of defending right now. He's also a classical liberal who believes in things like abortion and universal health care. But speaking of coming to his defense, Rumble, a media platform that provides a home for lots of voices the media has deemed problematic, offered Joe $100 million to match his current contract to bring himself and all his episodes over to their site. If Joe declines, you'll really have to wonder if we should be wasting our breath defending him at this point. Time will tell. I just hope we don't find ourselves in a world where every episode of his is gone.
What about you guys? We ain't found
Anyways, while all of this is going on, Big Tech has moved on to adding fact checks to videos and content about the Great Reset. So, listen to episode 8 of The Spillover with Jack Posobiec while you still can. Please like this episode to support what we do. Doing this every day will become more important than ever. Tell me in the comments if you agree with my theory on the Joe Rogan controversy or not, and why. Post this episode to your Instagram story. Tell your followers they have to watch this. DM it to your close conservative friends and fans of Joe's and see what they think, and hit that save button. We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific with a regular episode. I just wanted to focus on this one subject today, so it was a little different. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm AlexClark, and this is POPlitics. Support POPlitics, the first ever conservative pop culture daily show, by subscribing to our channel, turning on notifications, and of course, hitting the thumbs up. Also, our main home is on Instagram. Seriously, just trust me, that's where the real magic happens. Follow us there at POPlitics.